Hey guys, Jonathan here for the Blue Wizard Project, just coming at you with the next part of my playthrough of Castlevania Harmony of Dissonance. Not off to a good start there, as I get knocked into a cliff. Yeah, so I am playing through, right now I am just kind of working my way farther north up through this tower, trying to see some of the rooms that I haven't been through yet, and see where it takes me. Actually, I made a big mistake in the last video. I said that when I got the Book of Wind that I never used it. That is actually super false. I use that item a lot. Actually, it makes this like whirlwind of crosses around you, and I don't know why, but for some reason I thought that was a ice move. I don't know why I thought that. That doesn't make any sense, but I did. And so at the end I said I'll never use it, and then I told Ian to deal with it and called him stupid or something like that. I don't know. I apologize for lying to you guys. I meant everything I said about Ian. And that's that. That is that. So hopefully we can put that behind us, and I'll show you guys that Book of Wind move later. This is what Curse does, just kind of makes you go slow, although I do think it's kind of racist that when you're cursed you turn black. What's that about, Konami? These guys are annoying. Any of the jumping guys, the flea men, the skeleton blaze, are kind of irritating. Alright, continue on. So you can see I'm up here at this very north part, going up this tower. Unfortunately, it's locked, so I'm going to backtrack a bit. That's why we're going to jump down there and back towards the bottom of the tower now. Here's one of those rooms that I didn't know what they did. Actually, in between the last recording and this recording, Ian told me what those are. I didn't notice the little heart in the bottom of that one. But what they do is that each of those rooms has like a criteria you have to hit, like gathering so many hearts, gathering so much money, etc., and it will open up a vendor. I didn't really find the vendors useful or really all that necessary, and I never managed to open up any of those rooms besides the one vendor room that I think I go to in this video. So yeah, I don't really see the point in it, but maybe there's cool stuff in there. I don't know. I didn't 100% this game, so we'll see. And you can see from this point on, I'm going to be hanging onto that cross for dear life. There's a couple times that I pick up other items and it like drops in a cliff or something, but yeah. So this part's kind of cool. Like it has this little haze effect. Picked up a wristband, so I'm like Castlevania Scott Pilgrim. Actually, I say that jokingly, but like when I was a teenager, I was all about those. I had like 2 bracelets on and more bracelets below those all the way down my arms. I was one of the cool kids. That's one of those things that like if I do ever have kids, they're gonna be like, why did you do that? Alright, so here's something that is weird. It's like, oh, I'm under the castle with just volcanoes, self-contained volcanoes, and like I get that in real life if you go underground there is like lava and stuff, but this just seems a little bit strange. Also a weird place to build. So it looks like here I just got this heart. I'm gonna go back up there. Doesn't look like there's anything else down here, and we'll keep exploring. Normally I would cut this backtracking out, but literally backtrack up until here, so it's not that big of a deal. Takes like 15 seconds or something like that. Not worth the hassle. And again, in this game it's not so bad backtracking because you get experience, you can level up. Of course you can fill your hearts and get money and stuff like that, but not a big deal. Like, I just want to know at what point, number one, did Dracula build the castle, or did he like hire people to do it, or did he make skeletons do it? In which case, like, are there skeletons that like go to a hard day of work, build in the castle, and come home to their like skeleton family and are like, man, you wouldn't believe how rough my manager was today. He had me building a fucking palace next to a volcano, and good thing I don't have skin because that shit would be bad. And Is that how that works? Does he use magic to do it? In which case, did he have to like study architecture to do that, or did he just like go to the same school of building things with magic as Magneto and who was the other? Oh, Jean Grey at the end of X-Men Apocalypse. Normally, I wouldn't say stuff like that because it's a spoiler, but that movie's garbage, and you shouldn't be wasting your time watching it anyway. So, all right. So let's see what's down here. I think, yeah, I've been down here, I think. Yeah, that's the way to the room that hurts my eyes, I think. Okay, so we're in this crystal cavern. We're going to go back down here. So this is the area that I was in before that I was like, nope, because I wasn't strong enough to really fight this guy as far as I know. Should be fine now. Gate Garter. Knock him off this ledge. That looked like it hurt. That looked like it hurt. Also, he shouldn't build gates that he can break with his own body. Okay, so here's one of those rooms. See, I didn't even notice the background. Welcome. Why do you have a shop in a place like this? Good question. Well, being the wandering merchant that I am during my travels, I was suddenly swallowed up by a dense fog and ended up here. Still, there's no need for you to set up shop in a place like this. At first, I spent some time looking for an exit. I couldn't find one, so without other options, I opened for business here. What can I do for you? So this guy looks like a weird, like, leprechaun Donald Trump, first off. That's the first thing about that room. Second off, I didn't even notice that the background in that room matched those rooms that I didn't know what they did. So that's on me. I actually should have been able to figure that out a long time ago. Okay, this item at the time, I thought it was just a regular item. And so you're going to see me kind of digging through my menus here, looking for it. It's not going to be there. It's a relic. And all the way through the game, I didn't really know what this was for. And what it turns out is that if you remember back in Castlevania 2, when Ian was playing through that game, he picked up these items like Dracula's nail and Dracula's fang and stuff like that. That item is one of those. So you can see I'm down here, and I'm going to warp over to the other world. That item is one of those items. They brought that back for this game. I don't know if they did it for other games. I don't remember Ian saying that they did, but who knows. Again, not well versed in the lore of this game. And so, okay, I'll talk about that in a second. Juiced, have you found Liddy? You're Maxim, aren't you? Hey, what do you mean by that? Nothing. Forget it. So tell me, how did you fare? Shouldn't he tell him about that shit? I have found nothing yet, but my memory is slowly coming back to me. Really? So Liddy is somewhere in this castle after all? Yes, I'm sure of it now. I've been here before also, and that is something I think you should know. Go ahead, you can tell me anything. The day you inherited the title of Vampire Hunter, I felt as if a wall had been erected between us, and for that reason I set out on my expedition. I wanted to be better than you, and relieve you of your fate. ... Long ago, you told me of Dracula's remains. Do you remember that? Yes, I remember. The story of how my grandfather, Simon, gathered Dracula's remains and destroyed them to undo this curse. I thought my wish would be granted if I could gather and destroy them. That means that the remains can be found in this castle are genuine. They are identical to the ones I found, but I have little memory of what... I don't know why I gave myself so much time there. Of what happened after I found them. I only remember Liddy being brought here. If true, Dracula's remains have been giving rise to this castle. Forgive me, this is all my fault. It's not you. You're the one that... You're not the one that... Sorry, I'm not the one you should be seeking forgiveness from. The question. You ought to apologize to Liddy first. We must hurry and find her. Yes, you're right. Okay, I'll be off then. Maxim, I believe in you. Thanks, Juiced. Yeah, so, sorry, had a little difficulty reading there. Yeah, so here's the thing. It actually ties into that cinematic quite well. So that ring that I just found, Vlad's ring, that's part of the, like, set of Dracula stuff. And I believe in other regions it's not called Vlad's blah blah blah. It's actually called like Dracula's Fang, Dracula's whatever. The only reason I know that is because of looking it up on the internet. Well after this series was done, after I'd already started recording other stuff, I went back and saw, oh, there's actually multiple endings to this game. So I actually literally just like 10 minutes ago finished recording where I reloaded up this game, got all of those relics and stuff, and unlocked the best ending of the game. So after the last video, I'll post that one up. I got the like okay ending when I went through on my own, and then again went back and got the best ending for you. There's actually 4 endings to this game: bad, okay, good, and best. Those items that I picked up, you need those to like open a gate later in the game at the very end to be able to fight against Dracula. And when I went through the game, you don't fight Dracula at all, actually. You don't even see him in the game unless you get all the items. So I had completely forgot about that cinematic where he's talking about, hey, like, I picked up Dracula's remains and blah blah blah. To be honest, a lot of the times when I was playing this game, it was like pretty late, and I was just kind of focused on getting through it as quickly as I could. So I apologize about that. I should have known that. I kind of knew that he was saying like that Maxim was like in charge of whatever happened that brought this castle back, but I didn't really put it together that like, oh, that ring that I just picked up, that was Dracula's, which I should have known. It was like Vlad the Impaler is what they based you know, the story, the mythos of Dracula on. So I should have known that that was the case, and I don't know why I didn't put those together. Also, finding those extra items is a huge pain. Gonna be completely transparent, used a walkthrough online to do it because there's 1 or 2 of them, actually probably about 3 of them, that I either came across were like, oh, that wall looks suspicious, but some of them I probably wouldn't have found, at least not without a lot of like going through every room and checking every wall, which I was not going to do. So we got a lot of games to play, guys. So still just making my way up, and again, in the other video we saw the top floor of the castle, but now I'm like up in the clouds, so you know, not a very aptly named portion of the castle. And these guys are pretty easy. Making my way up here. Now there's like some stained glass stuff. Looks almost cathedral-like. The other thing I never got is like in Castlevania games why people run with their arms like up here. Like, that's kind of a weird. They look almost like Matt Foley when he's like moving around. And Max Heart's up. Kill that guy. Make my way up these stairs. Okay, grab this cloak. Again, I like to imagine that these are like just Dracula like partying hard in his castle. Like this cloak, like Dracula was just drinking with some buddies and then like passed out and or like blacked out rather, and like lost his cloak there and then kept drinking, and then later he's like, oh man, the next day he wakes up like, oh, my green cloak, I love that cloak, what happened to it? But like his castle's really big and impractical, so he was too lazy to go back and check where it was. Okay, that one's locked with a magic spell. Double check that for you guys. This stained glass, that is a very important picture in the mythos of Dracula's college days. Yeah, so that's actually the first girl that Dracula ever slept with, and he had like a really weird obsession with her. So he was like, oh, I gotta like do something to let her know that she's special to me. So he made this like giant stained glass window and then like invited her over and was like, oh, babe, look. And he's like, I got something to show you. And she's like, yeah, before you do that, I gotta talk to you really quick about something. Side note, there's Vlad's eye, which I can't get right now. I have to wait until I get a better jump. So that's another one of the relics that you need to be able to get the best ending. So he's like, yeah, I got something to show you. And she's like, oh, that's cool, but I need to talk to you really quick. He's like, okay. I want you to go first. And she's like, yeah, it was kind of a mistake. Like, I was really drunk, and I just got out of a long-term relationship, and you were there, and you were really nice, and it's cool. And I mean, I didn't mean to use you, but I really think that like we don't really click. We shouldn't really be a thing. And he's like, ooh. And she's like, but anyway, what was it that you wanted to show me? And he's like, it's nothing. And she's like, no, show me. And like pushes past him and sees this giant stained glass thing. And she's like, I should go. And he's like, yeah. No, I mean, like, I do this for all of my friends too. I swear. Look at this one. And she's like, that's just like a weird tentacle beast thing. And it's weird that you have friends that are giant, weird tentacle beast things. And she's like, you know what? I'm going to take back, like, I was going to say maybe we could still be friends, but I'm going to pass on that. And that's why Dracula was drinking there, is because, like, when he's feeling, like, particularly sad and, like, he's, like, dwelling on it, you know, like how you have those memories that, like, sometimes you're like, oh, I can't believe I did that. He goes there and gets really drunk. And that's why he didn't go back in there to find his green cloak, is because it brings up bad memories of that chick. So that's a bit of Castlevania lore that Ian would not tell you. Poison. Here's an elixir that I'm gonna hoard until the end, and spoiler alert, not gonna use it. Alright, boss time. This guy was like the naked dude on the floor of Dracula's dorm. That just like, he was known for two things. Number one, he loved playing fucking Smash Brothers. And number two, here's that when you knew it though. And number two, being the naked guy. So like, he would always like just kind of chill naked with his door open. Didn't give a fuck who saw him. Didn't give a fuck who was walking down the hall. Didn't care if like people had their girlfriends over, if their parents were visiting. His mentality was, if I'm not out in like public, if I don't have to go outside, ain't nothing trapping these balls in here. That was the way he lived. That was the code he lived by. And like at first everyone was like, dude, come on, cover up. But then it became like oddly endearing that he was like the naked guy, you know? So I'm not sure if every college has a naked guy, but mine sure as hell did, as did Dracula's. Also, the thing that's funny about my school is that I went to a private Christian school, and so there were days that girls weren't allowed in our dorms. And one day at the change of the semesters, they like flip-flopped the days that we could go into the girls' dorms and vice versa. And a chick came in, and naked guy was just doing his naked thing, and then we just hear this really loud shriek going down the hall. Now again, like Christian school, so a lot of these people are like very sheltered in terms of like sexuality stuff, myself included at the time. And so it was really hilarious to see this girl just like bolting out of the place, and naked guy just being like, what'd I do? She shouldn't have come here if she didn't want to see those goods. So, little backstory of naked guy at my school, and presumably Dracula's. So anyway, guys, that's the end of that video. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe. If you had a naked guy at college, tell me about him in the comments. Let us know what was his dealio. Yeah, that's basically it, guys. This has been Jonathan for the Blue Wizard Project. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.